What's up, everyone? It's Isaac from Hunger Smash Fitness. Just wanted to come and talk to you today. Found a really interesting study about chronic caffeine consumption and its effects on type 2 diabetes, which I think is really interesting. So for a long time, I've kind of heard, like, if you have diabetes, you want to control your caffeine consumption because the caffeine will cause an adrenal response, which increases the amount of carbs in the bloodstream and everything. So if you have diabetes, it's usually advised not to drink a lot of coffee. Even that, I feel like it kind of depends on who you talk to, but that seems to be more of the general thought on it. However, I found a study talking about chronic consumption of caffeine, which I found very interesting. So the article is Coffee and Type 2 Diabetes, Time to Consider Alternative Mechanisms. I have not bought this article, so I don't own it, so this is just the snapshot of it. But I thought that this study was really interesting because I feel like for those that have been working out and looked more closely at caffeine for a while, I feel like they've come to similar agreements without directly stating it like this. So the study was they did more than 25 prospective cohort studies across the United States, Europe, and Asia. So they looked at all these different studies that had already occurred. Dose response reduction in type 2 diabetes with coffee consumption. So for each additional cup of regular or decaffeinated coffee consumed per day, each regular cup of coffee is a 9% reduction, and each decaffeinated cup of coffee is a 6% reduction on average. So this is, it's going to vary person by person, of course. This is just kind of, the overall arc of what they're finding. And I thought it was really interesting that they say here, the consistency is remarkable considering a cup of coffee can differ in so many ways, not captured in detail by observational studies. So what they're stating here is that you can make your cup of coffee multiple different ways. You can make it with milk, with cream, without. You can have it black. You can have it with sugar. You can have it, your caramel frap, your whatever, latte. And it actually doesn't seem like those necessarily have a direct correlation. It seems like it's the actual caffeinated part. Now, of course, if you're putting a ton of sugar in your coffee, yes, increased sugar in the diet there has been some correlation to increased risk of diabetes. So if you're putting a ton of sugar in your coffee, you may be counteracting the benefits of drinking the coffee. But I thought that was really interesting that they're saying the consistency of drinking this cup of coffee is remarkable considering that it can be so many different things. So basically just drinking the coffee every day is what's going to benefit you the most. And they have the caveat here, of course, association does not imply causality, and confounding can never be completely discounted. So they're saying there's always going to be outliers. There's always going to be people that this does not apply to. There's always going to be those coffeeholics who end up with diabetes. But, and you have to think too, so they're saying a 9% reduction with regular, 6% reduction with decaffeinated. You want to be careful with that though too, because if you say a 9% with regular, so if you just go ahead and have 11 cups of coffee, you'll be at 99% reduction of type 2 diabetes risk. However, for each 100 milligrams of caffeine that you consume, it's there's a calcium component, 6 grams of calcium. So every time you're consuming coffee, your bones are losing some calcium. Your body is losing some calcium. So if you want to have some cream with your coffee, that can counteract it. That's one way that you can do it. But there are a lot of negative side effects if you're consuming a lot of coffee. So even though it says a 9% reduction with regular or 6% with decaffeinated, that doesn't mean the more coffee you drink every day, the better. Because increased amounts of coffee, causes increased anxiety, inability to sleep. Poor sleep can cause all sorts of problems. It can cause heart palpitations. There are a lot of negative side effects to having too much caffeine. So take that with a grain of salt. And again, I'm just some guy on the internet, okay? I'm not your doctor. If you are taking medication, some medications can respond poorly with caffeine. So if you're taking some medication where you're not supposed to have coffee, don't start drinking coffee just because of this video. You always want to talk to your doctor first and get everything okayed with that. But I just thought that this was a very interesting study. Wanted to share it with you all, and I hope that you also find it very interesting. So anyways, that is all for today, and this is Isaac from Hunger Smash Fitness, and just remember to always improve that 1%.